numbers in those games.
So I echo everything that you just said in terms of how well he plays internationally on the offensive side of the ball. Here in the NBA, in America, in the States, they've kind of looked at the big man as a kind of guy that, you know, he's just big and he sets screens and he doesn't do anything.
Right.
However, internationally, they still use their big man. So Finch, coming from Toronto, an international team that is used to playing an international style, now he comes to Minnesota and he's looking at, okay, if I get a big like Gobert who could not only defend, but I can throw him the basketball. And then, believe it or not, Karl Anthony Towns, we crowned Steph Curry the best shooter in the game, but Karl Anthony Towns last year let it be known that he's on that list also.
Best shooting big of all time, I believe is the claim he made.
That's what he said, best shooting big of all time. So now you got larger people, you got bigger people out on the floor, and then you got Ant-Man, right? And, you know, I really like what Minnesota has done. You know, you look at these numbers, you know, with Karl Anthony Towns shooting 41% from the three-point line, 53 from the field.
Had a phenomenal season, All-NBA.
He's gonna get better. So I really like what Minnesota did. I think they have all the pieces now to really go out and compete with the LA Clipper team that's going to be stronger.
And you would think Gobert's presence would keep Karl Anthony Towns out of foul trouble. Makes for, on paper at least, one of the more talented starting lineups in the NBA. They did sacrifice some depth to make that happen. It'll be interesting to see what happens in playoff time on both ends of the floor. Can Rudy Gobert force other teams to play bigger? Because that hadn't happened in Utah. And can other teams force him off the floor by putting him into pick and rolls or taking bigs out to the corner the way we saw Dallas do in that first round?
So I'm watching Minnesota early in this game, and they're pressing and picking up full court after foul shots. Why are they doing that? So I'm looking at, you know, Finch, looking at his team, how it's going to play during the course of the regular season. I think there'll be a ball control team. They'll slow the tempo. They'll pound you inside. They'll take time off the clock. They have defenders now that can defend, and they can rebound. And if you can defend, rebound, and get to the foul line, now you can control tempo. And I see Minnesota being a big tempo control team.
Should be really interesting. And you mentioned Chris Finch's international background. He also has a long European history as well as a player and a coach over in Europe before he came back to the United States. Scheduled to sit down and talk with Chris Finch here during this game. And he and Tim Connolly, the new president of basketball operations, acknowledge that the move will be critiqued. And until we see it play out on the floor, people will question what they gave up for Rudy Gobert, and they'll question whether that combination will work, and that's the beauty of sports. We don't know. At this point, we don't know. Everyone has an opinion.
Well, if you look at our last, 3 out of 4 MVPs of the league, outside of Steph Curry, they've all been European bigs. When you look at Giannis, you look at Embiid, who was in the running, you look at Jokic. I mean, the big men are now coming back in play.
That was Matteo Spagnuolo with the 3 for Minnesota, part of a 7-0 run here for the Timberwolves to put them up by 4. And Denver puts an end to that with the offensive board by rookie Ismael Kamagate out of Paris, 6'11".
But we got Gillespie out on the floor now, played at Villanova. I always liked him as a guard. He can run the show. Not only can he run the show, he's tough enough to score, he can defend. And I think he's a player that if he finds the right fit, the right team, he'll be extremely effective in the NBA.
Signed to a 2-way deal with the Nuggets, getting his first taste